to another episode of T-Shirt Business Podcast. Today, I have a super special guest with me. I have the legendary Lee Stuart. All right, so we're going to have a conversation with Lee. We're going to learn a little bit about him and learn from him. So we could get this thing going. Lee, tell the people a little bit about you so we could get started.
All right, well, I guess I'm primarily known as being a screen printing YouTuber. I've been screen printing for like 5 years now, I think, 4 or 5. It's getting up there. And I've been doing the entire thing, showing the whole thing on YouTube throughout my whole journey so far. And yeah, it's been, I don't know, kind of crazy.
Yeah, it has been crazy because like I actually told you I saw one of the first videos you put out. That video took over the internet, right? It took over the screen printing community.
Yeah, I think it would have been, I don't know if it was my first one, but it was like within the first like 5 or so, I think it was. Because my first couple was mainly me building my little home shop and stuff, and those kind of gained a little bit of traction. And then I put out a couple of videos of me like learning how to use that equipment, which were hilarious to look back at today, just how much I sucked and didn't know what I was doing. But then I think after those couple, so it would have been like my 5th or 6th video, I put out a video just touring my home shop. And that's the one, like that thing blew up like crazy because I had built a home shop that no one had ever seen before. You know, when you think home shop, you think, you know, a press stuffed in someone's garage or basement or whatever.
Wow.
Whereas I went like a whole, a whole above and beyond level. And yeah, that thing really took off. And that's what alerted a lot of people to what I was doing.
Yeah, that was an awesome video. To me, in my shop, you didn't even notice, but this thing probably did the same thing throughout the industry because, you know, in my shop, I was struggling passing the message and like, hey, we got to keep this shop clean, right? And when I saw your video, I actually saw like an example. I could like, hey, just watch this. Look what this guy is doing. So when I saw your video, that's what I did. I took it and gave it to my team member just to say, hey, come on, we got to run a clean shop and an organized shop.
Yeah, well, especially at that time, my shop was so new, like it was sparkling, perfect, everything. And even in the end, like, you know, I used and abused that thing hard for 3 or 4 years, whatever it was. And like, you know, I had floods, I had fires in there, I had all kinds of crazy shit happen. And even by the end of it, like it wasn't as beautiful as it looked in the beginning, but I mean, I maintained a very, very clean shop throughout that whole time. And, you know, you could always walk through there and touch anything you want and not get ink on you. And that was the goal.
It is annoying when you get that red ink right here.
Oh, dude, some shops, man, I cringe so hard because you could be like, you don't even have to go inside. You could be out somehow in the fucking parking lot and get ink on you for some reason. Like it's crazy to me.
Yeah. One thing I noticed about you, it seems like you do everything high level. Videos high level. Just your whole production is high level. Just from what we could see, like where did that come from? How come you're this way? Like a lot of folks just, you know, mediocre is okay. It's okay for them.
Yeah, why are you like this? I don't know what it is, man. I'm always constantly like challenging myself. That's what it really comes down to. I'm a mega competitive person. Like I do not lose at anything. It doesn't matter what it is. We will turn it into a contest and I will just do anything I can to win. And I'm like that with myself on a day-to-day basis. So anything I touch, generally, I can't not put everything into it. I want to be good at it. I want to be as best as I possibly can be. So when it comes to the videos or my work with screen printing or whatever else, it's just, I'm not going to be satisfied until I know like I'm, you know, up at the top as one of the best. And even if I do get to that point, it's just like, well, now I want to maintain this. I want to stretch a lead on these people. So it's something that's never, ever going to end for me. And I don't know where I got it from, but just, I'm glad it's a trait that I have.
That's awesome. So you're in the T-shirt business podcast. So let's talk about, so you could have been doing anything in your life, right? You could have been a carpenter or a doctor. I mean, why you chose to do T-shirt and how did you end up in the T-shirt business?
Yeah, it's crazy because like, I mean, I came from a really different background. I was a professional snowmobile and motorcycle rider for a very long time. And I did that for, I don't know, like 10 years, 12 years, something like that. I turned pro when I was 15 and then, you know, retired in my mid 20s, which sounds kind of crazy to say out loud. But
pro when you're 15, nice.
Yeah. And then, you know, I had a couple of years afterwards where I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't want to get a real job, and working for other people sucked because I had all that freedom for so long. And I had no idea what to do with myself. So that's when I actually decided to do YouTube originally with motorcycles. So I started
Mm,
making videos about stunt riding Harleys because that was a relatively new thing that was kind of taken off at the time. I had seen that stuff really popping up, and I was like, well, dude, I can do that. That's way easier than what I used to do. So I bought a Harley, started doing all this stuff on it, putting it on the internet. And
yeah.
it gained a fair bit of traction, definitely nowhere near what I have now, but it was going all right. I gained about 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, I believe.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't paying the bills. I was losing money. I was actually like just a ball hair away from being bankrupt at one point. It was really, really bad because I was putting so much money into the videos and into breaking that bike over and over and over again and everything else, and shut this down and go get a job, or I'm going to try something crazy. $1 and I got a little bit of t-shirts made. I was able to convince the bank to give me a credit card. So I took that thing, which was like a couple grand. I maxed it out and yeah, set up a little tiny 1-bedroom thing. It was like an 8x8 room with some shirts and a laptop and a plastic table in it. And that somehow worked. It took off a little bit. Those shirts sold out in like a day and a half. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit. Ordered up some more from another printer. Those sold out again. And I just kind of kept doing that over and over again for like about a year. And then as that was happening, I was just getting let down by printers over and over and over again. All my local printers were really shitting the bed on the quality of their work. It was awful, especially like back then. I really noticed it, and I was like, "This is not acceptable." Now, if I look back at those shirts, and really know how bad it is now that I'm experienced. So yeah, just I'd gotten fed up. I tried 4 or 5 print shops around town, and after that, I
Yeah.
was just like, you know what? The only person who's going to care about my brand as much as I do is me. So I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to start saving money and start buying gear. And I started with a single hat heat press from Stalls. That's all I had. I
Mm,
started making some hats on my own. Then I used that to flip it into another heat press, started doing plastisol transfers, used that to flip it into a vinyl cutter. And then all of that combined to start saving up for the screen printing gear. And then all of a sudden I was a screen printer. I don't even know. I don't even know how I got here, but I'm so glad I did.
nice, nice. So you started really to just print for yourself. So
Yeah.
is that what you're doing now? Like, what is it?
No, actually, I started off printing for myself. As soon as I got all the gear, I knew right away that I'm going to start a print shop because I was
Mm,
smart. I had the foresight already to know that, brands come and go every day. They can be cool for a couple of years and then they just disappear.
yeah.
There's always going to be a need for a print shop. So as I kind of used the first, I don't know, probably like 6 months or so to practice on my own stuff and get
Mhm.
all that out there and kind of cut my teeth on that. And then after that, I started taking a little bit of orders here and there, more and more and more. And then eventually I had to shut my clothing brand down because the print shop just took over.
Wow. Yeah, that's so in your videos that you put out on YouTube, I'm seeing it's just you. Is it just you in your shop?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing everything solo. I've got a designer who works here, picking up designs for us, for our clients and everything else. But otherwise, all the production and all the video stuff, that's all me.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe that either. There's a lot of people that there's a conspiracy that I somehow have this army of people in the background working on all my stuff, which believe me, I fucking wish that was true, but it
Yeah.
isn't. I'm just about to start hiring employees now this year. Now that I'm in this new shop and we're going to be automated and have all this other stuff going on. So now I'm going to start bringing people in. But for the last few years, it's been just me flying solo for most of the stuff going on here.
So you are where you are now. If you look back at, was it a good decision for like to get into the t-shirt business, t-shirt thing that you're doing? What do you think about that?
Absolutely. It is the smartest decision I could have ever made.
Mm,
The smartest decision that I made was to put it on the internet. That was easily the best move I've made my entire life. I was sitting there thinking about it because I was just going to let my channel die originally.
mm,
And I had taken a break from YouTube I've been doing YouTube for like 6 years, and about halfway through, I took a full year off because I was not doing the motorcycle thing anymore. I started doing my clothing brand and whatever. And I had done one video about my clothing launching and maybe one afterwards, but the motorcycle people really didn't like it, and they were talking a lot of shit about it. Like, we don't want to watch this, whatever else. So I just kind of like said, whatever, fuck it, I'm not making videos then. And then when I got all this print equipment, I was just like, you know what? There's not really, there are people making videos out there on YouTube, but there's no one doing it how I think I can do it. So I'm just going to start making videos and document my journey about this thing because I love making videos. I'm sick of sitting here not using my cameras anymore. And I just want to try something new. So I just picked it up and yeah, that was extremely smart because people latched onto it immediately. It was kind of weird because the very first launch of it, just the first people who saw it were my original followers. And
yeah.
I lost almost all of them.
Yeah,
Almost
because
all of them.
like
There were
I need to see motorcycle. Why you showing me t-shirts, right?
there were literally hundreds, possibly thousands of people telling me that this is the fucking death of your channel, blah blah. They were just talking all kinds of shit, saying like this is a massive failure. You should continue making Harley videos because that's what's gonna work. And I just got my 100K subscriber plaque yesterday, so I guess they were fucking wrong, weren't they?
A little bit, a little bit.
But yeah, dude, throwing it on the internet was the smartest move I could have ever made because it opened up what I was doing to a ton of people. It brought a ton of clients into the business that would have never known we existed. It's still to this day, like we kind of have an onboarding process that with all of our clients that come in saying, how do you hear about us? And 99.9% of them, it's YouTube, that box that's checked on that list. So,
Nice.
and plus it opened up a whole other side of the business too. It's not just
Yeah.
a print business anymore. The YouTube side is a business in itself. There's obviously the videos make money through YouTube monetization. There's a lot of sponsorship involved and all kinds of stuff. Everything's kind of feeding each other. It's a cool little ecosystem that kind of happened by accident.
That's awesome. So when I think of you, I think of like the relation it won't make sense, at least at first. I think of this guy that's in the NBA basketball player, plays for the Golden Nugget, number 30. What's his guy name?
Wrong guy. Unless it's got a motor attached to it, I'm not gonna know shit about what you're talking about.
Yeah, my mind just went blank. So, I mean, he kind of just redefined how the NBA works, right? Because he came in, little guy, just shooting threes from like half court, right? And he just changed the style of like how basketball was played. Like, I think right now what you're doing is like almost creating this blueprint how like the younger folks are gonna start, if they're gonna start their screen printing situation, they're gonna start like that. It's almost like a media company where they document pretty much everything and put it out. I think that's what you're doing right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if I'm, some groundbreaking, game changing human being or anything, but definitely print shops should think about being media companies to a certain degree because social media is the most powerful tool that we have at our disposal. There's shops that spend all kinds of money getting their word out on, through Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google, all that kind of stuff. Whereas I haven't spent a damn dime the whole time that I've been doing this. And our shop is known globally and it was done from a basement.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
it's crazy. It was just a matter of putting in the work, doing something original and just trying to figure out a way of to be unique.
Yeah. What those folks are gonna lack though is like, because I think to get to the level where you are, you gotta have like the charisma and the personality, and everything has to kind of match. I would never be able to get to that level, and I don't even know if I want to get to that level where you are, because like that has to be part of your personality. You know what I mean?
To a certain degree. I mean, it's another thing. It's just kind of practice. It doesn't just happen. If you go back throughout my early videos, how terrible I was on camera, you would never guess that was me making those videos because I didn't know how to talk to the camera. I was all quiet and weird and didn't know what to say and just like monotone through everything. And I was very uncomfortable throughout the whole thing, but I just knew that this was something I wanted to do. I know that I have something special I can show people, which at the time was the motorcycle thing. So I was like, I can ride my ass off. So that's something that will catch people's attention and I'll get used to talking on camera. And yeah, it happens over time. Even 2 years ago, if I watched a video just from then, it's crazy how much of a difference it is and how much progress I've made. So I think it's just something that's practiced really. Cause everyone most people have a certain personality and charisma. Like when the camera's off, they're just by themselves talking to their homie or something like that. They have all kinds of personality and charisma, but you stuff a camera in their face and all of a sudden it's just a brick wall hits them, right? So it's a matter of breaking through that thing.
You're talking about this guy right here. So you're in Canada, right?
Yeah.
And I see something you posted recently, a bunch of snow. How the hell do you do that? That's probably the closest I get to swearing hell. Like, how's life in Canada? Running your business in Canada, just like being a Canadian and all that stuff.
I mean, personally, I love it here. I traveled the whole world when I was riding for a living. So I've seen all kinds of different places, different countries. I've lived in multiple different cities throughout that time. And I came back here because this is where I grew up. This is home. And I don't know, I just like it here. I like the snow. I like the changing of the seasons that happens all the time. Sometimes winter can be pretty harsh here. I'm not going to lie. We got minus 30, minus 40 days and stuff where you can't even go outside. Your lungs start freezing. But otherwise, man, I love it here. I love the snow and everything else. Right now, it's a perfect day. It's kind of like decently warm outside. I think it'd be like, I don't know, 0 degrees or something like that, whatever that
Yeah.
is. And yeah, there's 4 feet of snow on the ground. It's amazing.
I don't know if I'll call that a I need some warmth, man. I need the sun, and I'll turn the AC on instead of turning the heat on.
Yeah, I'm the
I'm not.
opposite. I hate summertime.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. All right, so back on to t-shirt. So now you're pretty famous in the industry. People are reaching out to you. You wearing a rock hat. Those guys are super awesome. I ran a rock shop. So how is it like now where now you're getting a lot of love from pretty much everybody? What's that feeling like?
It's kind of a trip, really. It's definitely different, that's for sure. It's something that I kind of like had a little bit of experience with before from riding for a living, so I was able to kind of learn about that whole thing when it comes to dealing with corporate sponsors and things like that. So that I really learned a lot throughout those years that I was able to apply to what I'm doing now. But it's crazy that because we're kind of breaking a lot of new ground that's never been done before throughout this whole thing. You know, the signature squeegee thing and some of these
Yeah.
sponsor and brand deals that we're doing are things that have never happened before. Like it's unbelievable, and it's weird to be that guy that's in the driver's seat kind of breaking this new ground. But I mean, if anyone was prepared for it, it was me because of everything I did previous to this. So it's really cool. And yeah, we've got this whole deal with Ryonet. That's a pretty big thing. And of course, Rock's involved and everything else. We got multiple other companies involved. It's like Polyprint and Melco and Stalls and things like that. It's
That's awesome.
it's amazing. It's super cool just to see these companies so on board with what I've got going on and supporting me throughout this whole thing.
All right. So right now you was manually printing before, printing by hand. And based on what you're putting out, you're gonna go to an auto soon, right?
Yep, I already got one.
You got the auto. Is it set up?
No, I'm just in the middle of building out the new shop now. That's what my videos have been about for the past like 2 or 3 months. It should have happened a lot faster, but you know, the whole supply chain issues around the world, that's been dicking me around at every corner, but we're almost there now. All the major stuff is done. So I've actually have a call with Rock later on today to schedule the installer to come out. And after that's done, we're rolling. I'm finishing like my final video of setting up equipment probably today or tomorrow, and we're ready to go.
Yeah. How you feeling?
Pretty good. I'm ready to get back to work. I haven't printed a shirt in almost 4 or 5 months, something like that. It's been
You're gonna be so rusty.
yeah, because it was just a whole thing. I had to shut down my old shop, and it was my house. I moved house and shop to this new place, and then right in the middle of all this bullshit going on in the world, so it's just made everything move at a snail's pace. So I've just been kind of sitting here just waiting because I didn't bring any of my old gear over from the old shop to here because of all the sponsor deals. They provided me with all brand new everything. So yeah, I've just been kind of sitting here waiting for things to start working again so I can do what I do.
So the old equipment that you have, are you keeping that? You selling that? What's the situation?
That was already sold before I even moved out of that house fully. So one of my friends has a shop going on, so he came and scooped all that up. And yeah, I only brought small handful of things over here from the old shop, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 things, but otherwise everything else in here is all brand new, about to get broken in.
So you go into what you could go into and leave out what you don't want to talk about. Like, how does the sponsorship deal happen? Like, what's the behind the scene? What's the talk? Are you guys like, well, I guess everything is virtual now. I was gonna say, are you guys like at a conference table talking, whatever? What's that like?
Yeah, it's mostly everything's just done through these Zoom call meetings and stuff. I've got those things going on on almost a weekly basis. It seems like it's kind of crazy, just because there's so much involved in it. Like we've got meetings on game plans and content and things like that and whatever, which is still like completely up to me. Even though I've got all these deals and there's companies that have hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in what I'm doing, I still have full control and full creative control. But otherwise, yeah, we just kind of game plan stuff out and whatever, and always talking with new perspective ones here and there, and pretty crazy, man. But the way it comes about is really it kind of just has fallen into my lap throughout this whole time for the most part. When I had first gotten into making these videos, I didn't really think being an influencer in this industry was really a thing, or sponsorships at all, and it wasn't. There was one guy, I think there was Cam from the Print Life. He had gotten a few things sent his way and stuff throughout him making videos, because I watched his videos for like a year before I even started I loved his stuff. When I started making videos, Roundnet caught on kind of quickly. They were like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we like what you're doing. Is there any way we can get involved with what you got going on?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I bought all my shit. Whatever you want to do, feel free to send something over." And they sent over a huge shipment, like every bit of ink and supplies, consumables, basically everything they had. And I was like, "Holy shit, this is wow, that's amazing! Just for making some screen printing videos, this is cool." And then so I made more videos about that stuff, and made just I don't know another couple months worth of videos, and they started sending more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. And then before we know it, now we're at the point they're sending over autos and big dryers and multiple flashes and all this crazy equipment that is it's nuts.
Crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. So
That's crazy.
and yeah, they've all just kind of fallen into my lap. People have just kind of caught wind of what I've got going on, and I've picked and choose the people that I wanted to work with and
Yeah.
people that I like, and yeah, here we are now.
So when you're having these conversations, these people know they know you cuss and you throw out the F word and all that. Have anybody ever told you, well, no, you can't say this?
Actually, yeah, a few people tried that I actually convinced to get rid of that in the contract. The original contract said I couldn't swear with any content, real human being. That is first and foremost why they're here, because they trust me. I don't bullshit anybody. I'm just a real person doing real things. And I'm not going to betray that. So if you guys don't want to work with me because of that, sorry, hit the road. I don't care what you're offering me. And that's how I kind of am with everybody. And they were like, all right, well, we'll give you a shot and whatever. And it worked out very well for them in the end.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, and now they're on board. They let me say whatever I want. So it's great.
So I'm guessing these companies, when they partner with you, they're getting a pretty big return on their side.
Very big. Like I've full transparency with a lot of them, because I kind of make sure that's part of the deal. I don't want to just be doing all this stuff and not seeing the impact it has, because I don't want to be, I don't want them to be short-ended, and I don't want to be short-ended either. So I have full transparency with a lot of the companies that I work with, and yeah, the return that they get on their investment is far bigger than what they put into me. So it's very worthwhile for them.
Yeah. Hey,
so
if you guys are listening in, reach out to my guy and he'll blow up your company.
Yeah, it's the old school way of advertising in this industry it's dead. It's gone. There are people still trying to do like print advertising and whatever, like, companies that I won't say who it is, but there's a company that is one of the biggest in the industry that straight up told me to my face that they don't see a value in what I do. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me right now. Like, I'm not a super conceited human being by any means, but I'm not oblivious to the fact that I know the impact that this stuff has. It's unbelievable. And, it would cost you millions and millions of dollars to get that kind of advertising in any other means. So telling me there's no value in what I do, like, you're clearly out of touch with what's going on in today's world. And unfortunately, there's a lot in the industry that are kind of still stuck like that. There's a lot of old dinosaurs manning the ships that should probably hit the road, but they're coming around though. There's a lot of companies coming around and supporting creators and stuff. Obviously, I've got the companies that I listed that are doing stuff with me. There's a lot of other brands that are starting to jump on board with other creators in the space now too, which is amazing to see. So the tides are slowly turning.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, now it's just a matter of attention. Like, if you could capture people's attention, that's the biggest. I've heard this. Attention is the biggest currency. And
I was just going to say that. Yep. Yeah. Attention is the most valuable currency in today's world by far.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about your, printing. Like, how do you feel right now as a screen printer? Do you feel like you're like a great screen printer? Because, you talk a lot about, high quality and stuff like that. Does your print come out like, how does it come out? Stuff like that.
I won't sit here and tell you I'm the best screen printer in the world, because that would be total bullshit. There are people who are far better than I am. I'm still, 4 years into this, 5 years into this, whatever it's been. So there's still a lot that I have to learn. So yeah, just in comparison to the stuff that I've seen out there, I know what I'm doing is up there in terms of quality. We're getting there. We're not at the top of the pile yet, but I'm most of the way there. Obviously, I still have lots to learn. Like, I've still barely ever touched water-based ink before. I've still never done simulated process before at all, because it's not the type of artwork that we create. And what gets printed in our shop, we create probably 95% of that artwork. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. The times that we have artwork brought into us is very, very rare. So yeah, we create just the standard spot color type of stuff. That's just our style, and that's what people want. So I've never really had to mess with that stuff. So there's still a fair bit of stuff that I have to really learn, just something that I'm going to start pushing for throughout this next year and a half, just with my content. I'm going to be bringing in people in to help out with the shop. So I think I'm going to hire like a press operator and have them doing the day-to-day printing so that I can have more time to focus on becoming a better screen printer and learning more about the industry. And of course, showing people that and sharing the journey, and then hopefully helping them in the long run. So I've got artists now creating stuff for me that is going to be crazy, high detail, simulated process stuff, so that I have something to practice with, because I'm not just going to pull some Google image down and print that. That's lame as hell. I want to do something cool. So
hey, I know some people that do that.
yeah, like I'm not going to put that on the internet for everyone to see. That's not my style. I want to make something that's going to catch people's attention, that looks really cool, and something that's our style too, so that I can maybe make a piece of merch that can be sold in the end. So yeah, I got lots of that kind of stuff going on. I'm obviously working with a few new companies as well, that getting them to give me challenges to tackle. So it's going to be an interesting year. I'm going to try a lot more into the content creation side and really push myself as a printer. I want to be one of the best, because like we said earlier, I can't I can't not be. So I want to learn, and I want to push myself, and hopefully get up there with some of those guys.
So now you're gonna be building a team. How do you feel about like just your management and leadership and all that? Because that's completely different from being a creative or building like what you've built so far. Like, this, I know for me, when I first like started to work with people, it was a challenge, right? So what are you doing now to get ready? It looked like you're gonna blow up.
I don't want to say control freak, but I definitely I want things done a certain way. And I want us to be one of the best shops out there. I want us to be producing awesome quality. I don't want someone just here's a little pinhole here and there, let's let that out the door. Like, no, that's not acceptable here. So it's going to be tough to find people that are going to be wanting to work at that kind of level, that are going to put that much care into their job. I'm definitely going to pay people accordingly to get them to put that in there, because there's shops that look at people $15 an hour and expect that kind of work out of them, and it's not going to fucking happen. You need to give people an incentive to do that. So we're going to pay people accordingly to do the job that I require them, and then hopefully I find the right people. I definitely don't think I have a problem with the leadership side of things. I think I'm really good in that department. I definitely take charge, take no bullshit kind of person. So I think I'm all right there. And with myself and with Dan, the dude who works with me now, the designer, we're pretty good at we're really good at working together, and we're really good at sitting there and brainstorming and cooking up ideas on just how we can improve our systems and improve everything that we got going on around here. So I think that part's going to be very easy for us. It's more or less trying to find the right people for the positions that I'm going to be hiring. That's going to be tough. And that's one thing too, is I'm going to be training the people. I don't want any previous experienced people in here. I want all green people to come in so I can train them the way that I want them to work.
Actually,
it's tough to break old habits out of people, man. And there's a lot of old bad habits in print shops these days.
So just advice for you. I mean, I've ran like a major business. I've ran ran a team of 100 people. Started my business, hiring and stuff like that. So in the beginning, especially like in a small business like this, there's really no structure or framework around the decision that we make. So taking the time early on to like build a framework. When I say build a framework, like the first thing you probably could do is like, how are we gonna build the personnel, like just on a piece of paper? Hey, who's the leader of this ship? Who's gonna be doing sales and marketing, which is probably you? Who's gonna be doing production? Who's gonna be doing, just mapping all that out. It gives you like clarity in your mind, because like you could just see on a piece of paper, oh, okay, John go here, and Lee goes here, and then even if you have to add the person name twice in the future, you could just X out that person and replace with somebody else. So that's like a great way to start, like just drawing that out, like when it comes to building the team.
No, you're right. Exactly. That's good advice. And that's something that I'm definitely kind of planning. Like you said, sales and marketing, I'm wearing that hat. That's, no matter how many people I hire here, that is definitely my strongest suit that I have. And I'm going to definitely use that to my advantage. So it's a matter of, here's me and this fucking 8-year-old's Christmas list of stuff that I've got to do. And I'm just going to start checking those off. And here's a person that can do this. Here's a person that can do that. And just start slowly knocking them off one by one. And hopefully my plan is like the people who are coming on now in the early stages, that they're going to be the people who are running departments, who are just going to be,
Yeah.
kind of taking over some stuff to where it's not super compartmentalized, where I can just like let people do shit and they have their own little department heads that they can deal with and whatever, and handle their own issues and whatever else. So that's hopefully the type of people we're going to have. Like Dan has been here since the beginning. That's definitely going to be, he's going to be
Yeah.
second in command in the passenger seat with me. And he's definitely shown his loyalty. So he's going to get
Nice.
rewarded for that. And
Nice.
hopefully the people who come on now will be the same people. I can get a press operator that you can run screen printing operations and so on and so forth. So that's the dream, but I mean, it doesn't always work out that way. So we'll see
No, no,
what
no, no,
happens.
no.
But yeah, hopefully I find the right people, man. It's going to be tough. But one thing that's going to be fun is throughout this whole process is it's not going to be behind closed doors. I've got a big YouTube channel that's going to show every single bit of that. So I can kind of show people the ups and downs, possible pitfalls of bringing these people on. I'm going to be filming all the interviews as people come in, and
Yeah.
I'm going to mess with them the whole time. Like, I don't want to see your resume. I'm going to sit here and dick around with you and see what kind of human being you are, and film all this and put it on the internet for everybody. So it's going to be a pretty fun experience, I think, either way.
Yeah. So that actually might be a tough situation for whoever you hire, because that person you hire may not want to be a YouTuber or want to be, they just want to be in the corner somewhere printing shirts.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about that?
I'm thinking they're going to have to go find another job if they got this shop lives on the internet, man. That is what we do. So people are going to have to get comfortable with being on camera if they want to work here. And that's just the way it's going to be, because I'm going to be walking around all day with a camera in my hand. I can't limit what I'm doing because you're in the background. You don't want to be shown on camera. Like, no, I want to be able to walk around and show the camaraderie of the shop and mess with people and all that type of stuff. I want to create like a cool little, almost like a print TV show with what we've got going on here.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
people that don't want to be on camera, don't apply here when I open the doors.
Yeah. I almost picture when you say nice shop vibe, well, what I could see from like Instagram, I've never been to their shop, Upstate merch, man, their situation where how they play music, it seemed like the guys are just like naturally bonded with each other.
Yeah,
So
they've got
yeah.
an amazing shop environment there. Dylan's one of my homies. I talk to him all the time. He's one of the people I look up to in the industry, and like they've got an amazing shop environment there. They all work together, but they're all homies outside of work at the same time. So it's really cool to see something like that, and that's hopefully the culture that we're going to cultivate here.
Yeah. Building the culture is, because you're gonna have a culture no matter what, and you like either you're gonna like build it and kind of shape it, or it's gonna just build on itself. So building the framework and building the culture is gonna be like your two big, like I'll say, monster that you have to wrestle with in the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna do the things that we're gonna do, with especially showing new hires coming on camera and all that stuff. Like I'm gonna put them through their paces. I'm gonna put the gears to them and see what what they can handle, what kind of human they are. Because I don't care about what kind of work they can do. I want to see if they fit in here. That is what is more important than anything. I want a shop full of people who all get along. There's no animosity. Everyone wants to hang out and have a good time. Something like that. That's what I want here in the end.
Do you travel? Have you been to the States? Have you go to the events and stuff in the States, like the industry events?
No, I haven't been to any yet.
Yeah, you planning, or you don't not planning on doing any of that?
I don't know. I don't know yet. Maybe there's been offers for me to go, obviously, with some of my sponsor deals and whatever, and I've been offered to speak at certain ones and things like that. And I'm not sure if that's something I want to do just yet. I'm so focused on building the business and getting that off the ground, because that's what's most important in the end. My YouTube run isn't going to last forever. So I want to make sure this business is killing it. So I want to spend like a good couple of years just grinding and making sure that thing is set up the way it needs to be, and then probably start branching out into some other stuff and do the Ryan Moore thing.
Yeah, that's the model right there. That's the model to follow.
He's the guy.
Yeah. I'm just getting into the t-shirt business, and I meet you, right? And I'm asking you for advice. Hey Lee, man, I see you doing your thing. You got this major thing going on. Like, what's your advice to me, like, to trying to like build like pretty much a career out of t-shirts? Like, what do you say to somebody?
So yeah, it's a tough answer, because there's so many different skill sets out there in the industry, right? There's people who are great at the marketing side, maybe not so great at the printing side and whatever else. But I would say to anyone who's getting into the shirt game at all, the most important thing that you can focus on is art in your shop. Hands down. Art should live at the top of your pyramid. by a long shot. A lot of people say it's sales. I say they're wrong. I think sales should be below the art form, but art should be at the top, because that, like we said, attention is the best currency out there, and art is what's going to catch people's attention. Cool piece of art on a shirt is what's going to grab that. Then with good art, it's very easy to sell that. So that's why sales should be below the art form side. And then of course the screen printing and whatever else, and work your way down. But art is paramount in this industry. That's how you're going to get people in the door. That's how you're going to get people's attention when there's how many hundreds of millions of Instagram accounts out there. It's crazy. And there's probably 10% of them are clothing brands trying to get the name out there. So it's art that's going to do that for you.
Gotcha. All right. So building your shop after what do you see yourself like 5 years? And I know you say you want to do the Ryan Moore situation thing. What does that look like for you?
I don't even know. That's one thing I've never really sat and thought about too much, because everything has happened at such a crazy pace and like in a way that I would have never expected it to happen. Like when I started making print videos, it's like, oh, maybe there's something here, but not anywhere near at the level of what it's at now. So
Yeah.
it seems like the sky's the limit at this point. So one thing I definitely in the next 5 years would like to see is something like this. Is something I've done a lot of like podcasts and interviews and stuff. This is something I've never said out loud to anybody. So what I would like to see is almost like a print reality show, sort of, but not quite as lame, because reality shows are scripted bullshit and they're terrible and cheesy. But take what I've got going on now and hopefully get a camera crew in here, like get the YouTube to a point where it can start handling or start hiring employees on its own away from the business, have people to help me produce content and whatever. And we start making videos about the day-to-day life throughout our shop, all the cool stuff that's going on in here, dealing with clients, maybe art projects, some of the stuff that we sell, like in our digital store, like a little mini documentary on how we create fonts, all that type of stuff. I'm thinking in my head something like and I thought of this like maybe 2 years ago that this would be a possibility. I'm starting to see it turn into a reality now. Is something like the Orange County Choppers show or like West Coast Customs, how those were like, even though those were incredibly cheesy shows, people fucking loved those things because it showed an inside look at all this cool stuff going on and making these awesome things. And there were corporate sponsors coming on board to help get that to a different level, which is something I have going on now. So now we're just missing that piece of the puzzle to get it out there, to make more content, to get it filmed and edited in a different way that I'm doing now, to where we can get it out to a wider audience. So in the next couple of years, that's something that I want to really see in here. And of course, growing the shop to a much bigger level, because the one I have now, I've already outgrown it and I haven't even started. So I need to build a lot bigger of a shop here, multiple autos, all that type of stuff. Maybe use the channel to get bigger clients in here that would want to print with us because of the free advertising aspect, get big corporate clients in here and bigger brands and things like that. I think there's a lot that's on the table right now that I could really use. So that's, it's a lot of stuff rattling around in my head right now, but we'll see what happens over the next couple of years.
Yeah. So let me take a minute here to tell the audience a project I'm working on. All right. So Lee, I'll be talking to the audience here. All right. So a lot of folks know I ran a screen printing shop for a long time. And last year I sold the screen printing shop. And this gave me a lot of time to kind of think, see what my next move would be. All right. So when I ran my screen printing shop, unlike Lee, graphic designing was not my thing, right? So I struggled with graphic designing. I struggled finding good graphic designer, hiring them, and I didn't have enough money to just hire an in-house graphic designer, right? So when I sold my business, I actually challenged myself. I was like, hey, I know a lot of screen printers are challenged by this, right? They don't have like a good art situation. Right, so this challenge kind of led me to this path where I created an art team and offering the industry and some of my friends a solution to this art problem that they're having. So we're calling this Steps.io, and Steps.io is an art department for screen printing shops. So it's super simple, super easy. We'll help you save time. So what we'll do your vector retrace, we'll do your mod codes, we'll do your proof, and we'll do your color separation. And we do lightly and some creative work when it comes to custom artwork. Steps.io is the name of the brand. Reach out so we could have a conversation about it, see if it's a good fit for your shop. If you care about saving time and if you want something that's simple and systematic, Steps.io will help you out. Reach out, let me know. Was it good?
I was gonna wait until you were like right in the middle of saying that and just drop.
Oh my God.
I got a whole board full of sound effects here. I was gonna mess with you.
Hey, I got it out. You guys heard it. I was sweating. You guys got it.
We got some good outtakes on this episode.
Nice. So, what am I not asking you, man? What do people should know about Lee? Like, what's like fun about you, good, and like some cool stories?
Well, I like holding hands and walks in the Fuck, I don't know, man.
That went crazy.
I don't know what kind of stuff people need to know about me. I put so much stuff on the internet. It's like people know so much about me as it is already that I don't know if I have anything left to hide.
All right, I'm not gonna ask that question anymore.
That was gold. Like 2 solid outtakes in a matter of 30 seconds. That's what you get when you're working with me.
I told you I would run out of stuff to say.
Oh, we got lots to say still.
I think I'm at my cap right now. So you say some stuff while I
don't know what I gotta say about myself. It's weird sitting here talking about myself, just make something up.
Yeah, so
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So the next question is gonna feel so robotic just because we're gonna just go to the question. What is your favorite color, Lee?
Favorite color? Shit. I don't even know.
Just keep the conversation going.
Yeah, shit. I don't know. I like all black. Black everything. See my house, my shop, my whole yard, everything is blacked out beyond belief. I like black stuff, even though we're both rocking Crip blue right now. I'm an all black kind of guy.
Yeah. So we did something recently with I gotta give Richard Tilley a shout out. Richard Tilley has been giving a lot of love, and we've been like, I went to the Rock Factory, actually Rock Warehouse in Orlando, met him there. So a big shout out to Richard Tilley, and we did a show with him. How was that like for you, man? It was a good connecting with you there.
Yeah, that was fun. It's really cool seeing what he's trying to do with the industry right now. He's kind of like, he's at the ground floor of trying to start something up right now. And I definitely remember what it's like to be in that position. So it's cool. I think he's taking a really cool and different approach to it. He's kind of focusing more on the business aspect of things and trying to like provide valuable information to people, like kind of just cut out the bullshit and the little conversations and stuff, like this is what you need to know kind of stuff. And I think that's very good. So it's gonna be cool to see what happens with that. It was fun to do that little thing that we all did together that I was just talking to him this morning. I think we're gonna maybe do something on my YouTube channel here in the next little bit, like a live show together or something like that. So yeah, it's fun. I like Rich. He's awesome.
Yeah, big shout out. If you're not listening to him, go check it out. I got this advice recently. Hey, when something is going good, just kind of end it, just so it doesn't go crappy. I think that's what we're gonna do here. Just because I don't want this to go downhill, right?
Yeah. We can talk about what else we got here. We got well, if we're fucking talking about me, we got the the Rising Star fucking award thing that happened. We got the 100K thing for a screen printer to do that.
Before I came here, I went and watched pretty much a lot of your videos. I went and watched that. You know, I just wanted to be prepped up, and you know, I always like to do my research before I talk to the people.
Yeah.
I watched all your stuff. Not all your stuff, but a lot of your stuff.
So yeah, those 2 topics, those are something.
No, man, we're gonna end it, bro. We're gonna.
I've got a signature press coming out.
Oh, possibly. Really?
Yeah, that I don't think I can talk about just yet, but I can kind of like, we can do some hints at it probably, like, because I did throw a teaser on Instagram yesterday of like, I showed a picture of it getting built right now. There's a couple things that are happening there. So like there's 3 fucking awesome things. The 100K thing seems like that's like the most recent that literally happened yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, congrats, man. Congrats. Congratulations. So I actually got to get your squeegee because I still have some clients that are calling me for live screen printing. I used to do that heavy.
That's a topic too. We can talk about the squeegee thing because that's another thing that's never fucking happened before. So there we go. We got 4 things.
Yeah. So I don't know. The other day I was just looking because you know when I do live screen printing, I bring my Ryonet press, tabletop press, and it matches perfect with your squeegee, like with that green and the black. And you know when you go to live screen printing, it's all about the look.
Yep.
You know, so it's all about keeping things clean. It's all about your table cover being nice and everything's being organized, and that fits that look. So my next live screen printing, I am bringing 4 of them bad boys out.
Yeah. Yeah.
How'd
That's awesome.
you, yeah, so anybody that does live screen printing and you got the Rhino press, you should have that because the looks is amazing. How'd you get that deal? How did that work out? Like,
that was kind of weird too. That was another thing that kind of just like, it kind of fell into my lap, but at the same time, I kind of pushed for it a little bit. I had started using that thing, whatever it was, a year, maybe 2 years ago, something like that. I was always a push printer for the entire time before that. I don't know. I've broken my wrists and arms and stuff so many times throughout my career of riding for a living that I'm not able to pull with a normal squeegee. I just can't. My wrist wants to explode. Like, listen to this. So as soon as I pull on that thing, you can just feel the bones like separating and getting all weird and stuff. And I can only do it a couple times before I'm done for the day. So I was always a pusher for a long time, but I wanted to improve my prints because pushing can only get you so far, really. Like you can do some pretty good stuff with pushing, but if you want to get that extra 10, 15% of awesomeness out of a print, you got to pull. I'm sorry. That's just the reality of it. That's the way it goes. So I wanted to start pulling really, really bad. And I'd seen the Easy Grip.
yeah.
Like, I think I want to give that thing a try. So Ryonet sent me a couple of them over to test out, and I tried it at first and I didn't like it. It's just because it takes some getting used to. It's very, it's different. If you're so used to doing it one way, when you grab that thing, it's really, really weird and awkward at first. So I tried it for like a few minutes and I threw it on the shelf. I was like, nah, I can't do this. And then I ran into a print where I needed to get really fine halftones out of something. I was doing like a 4-color process or something like that. And I was blowing some stuff out. So I was like, dude, the only way that I'm going to fix this right now is I'm going to have to pull this fucking print. So I was just like, how am I going to do this? So I went and I was like, oh, I got that thing on the shelf. So let's give this a shot. So I was kind of forced to really use that thing for a while. And after a little bit, I gotten used to it. I was like, dude, this is nice. I like this. And I made a video about it shortly afterwards. And I kept using it after that. I'm just like, dude, this thing is amazing. So after that, I never touched a normal squeegee again after that. I was so used to this thing and it was just so much better. I loved it. And once we got to a point where my Ryonet deal was starting to kind of move to a higher level, I had kind of pitched them the idea of like, we should do something that's like specific to me, like a product. I think it would be really cool. I think people would really like it. And one thing that people can definitely identify with me is this squeegee, because I'm the only one really using it like on the internet right now. So I think that'd be a cool thing. And plus just me with my background of riding for a living, like one thing you always dream of as a kid, like all those pro riders had, signature helmets or signature goggles or these cool things like that. And I've always wanted to fucking have something like that. And I reached a point in my career where I was pretty close to getting something like that, but I never did. And then when this whole thing started coming up, I was like, maybe this is my shot to do it again. This would be cool. So, and they listened to my idea and they were just like, yeah, let's do that. Talk to Ron and see if he's on board. And of course I talked to Ron for a little while, explained to him what I do and all that. And he was on board right away. He's like, yeah, let's do this thing. So between those two, we made it happen. And it's amazing to see something like that out there. Like people are using this squeegee that's, got my name attached to it. And it's so cool to see. And something else I wanted to do too was just improve the overall aesthetic of people's shops. That's very important to me. Obviously, if you look at my videos, and there's nothing really that improves aesthetic better than black. It goes with
keep it simple.
Keep it simple, and it'll work with it, because I'm the only ones out there were right. Well, the original one's yellow. Ryonet's was green. I think One Stroke has one that's orange, or whoever is selling the orange one. And if I just stood back and took a look at those things, and I was like, none of these really go with anybody's stuff except for the green one if they have a Hopkins press. But otherwise, like all these other colors kind of alienate people from having one, because it would look like if it was me and I had, say, a blue press, I wouldn't want any of those on my press because it would look stupid. So I made the decision, let's make it all black. That way people can pop in any color squeegee rubber they want. It'll match their press. It'll look sick. And I've seen that now. I've seen people, obviously, with Riley presses using the black and green. I've seen people with M&Rs using blue rubber in theirs. Anatol's running red rubber in theirs. It goes with everybody's stuff. It's so badass to see that.
Yeah. I don't know, like, you'll see some of these big companies, right? And they'll put out a product where everybody knows aesthetic is important because everybody sees things first, and then you get excited and and you'll see companies come out with like a yellow something. And to me, I'll be honest, like first time I went to a trade show and I seen that green Ryonet press and the rock, I'm like, I'm not looking at any other press. That thing looks so good.
Yeah.
So it's so important to have stuff that just look good and just clean and simple and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you've seen too, they've kind of shifted over the last, I think, 2 years. Their stuff was like green and white for a long time, the Riley stuff, and now it's shifted to black, more and more black, and a little bit of green here and there. And it's really cool to see that, because I think I had a little bit to do with that. So
Nice, nice. So got the squeegee maybe in the future press. Maybe who else will know?
yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the works right now that people don't know about, will be revealed over the course of this year. That it's gonna be something. I'm pretty excited. We're doing a lot more shit that no one's ever seen before. So yeah, I can't wait.
Man, you're super blessed, man.
I'm lucky, that's for sure. I don't know. All this stuff just kind of landed on me. I did the right thing at the right time, and just kept up with it, as the wall says, put in the fucking work,
Yeah,
and things are happening now because of it. So it's pretty cool, man. I'm really happy about it.
yeah. So people want to like do business with you. I mean, you're pretty easy to find now, but how do people do business with you?
Many ways. Obviously, there's the print shop side of things. It's pretty easy to find. We're called Rogue Lab, just roguelabmfg.com, or Rogue Lab MFG on every social platform. We do obviously screen printing, embroidery, heat transfer, vehicle wraps. We also sell a lot of digital products to other shops, such as vector art packs and fonts. We create a lot of that type of stuff, just to
Yeah,
diversify our business. And we have such a strong art thing going on here that it'd be stupid not to give that to other people. So
yeah.
yeah, we've got a lot going on with that stuff. And then of course, me personally with the channel, companies want to reach out to me, just find me on Instagram, Lee Stuart 38, and that's how a lot of business gets done.
Yeah, talk a little bit, give a little bit more about the digital art stuff that you do, because that's super interesting.
Yeah, that was something that I saw was a hole that needed to be filled in the industry, essentially, just because, like you said, with when you're talking about seps.io, it's tough to find the art side for a lot
Yeah,
of people. It's tough to find good artists. It's tough to find art that's accessible.
yeah.
And sometimes people just don't have the budget for an artist. That's another thing. Like, art costs a lot of money. I can tell you just from what we do here, we're not cheap when it comes to that stuff. Like, you're paying a minimum of $1,000 or you're not working here for most stuff.
Mm,
Usually, and it's when we go far upwards from there too for some stuff, depending on the brand. But so yeah, I wanted to make something a little more accessible for people. And so the first thing that we did, I was going to make this video about neck labels, because that's something that a lot of people don't really know the specifics on. Some people, and there's a lot of arguments. It's like, you need this in there, you need that in there, and whatever kind of thing. So I was like, I'm going to make a video just to clear all this up for everybody, because I know all the specifics that need to go in there, and show people how to do it and whatever else. And at the same time I was filming that, I had called Dan that day, and I was like, we should make like an art pack for this, like a neck label template pack. Cause I've seen a couple out there, but most of them are free ones that are just fucking terrible. Like, I would never put that in anything. So like, we can make something awesome by the time I'm done shooting this video and put it out to everybody. So I was like, do you want to get to work today? It was like a Saturday or something like that. Just like, yeah. What kind of ideas you got? So I just rattled off a couple of real quick ideas. He got to work. I went back to shooting that video. We I shot the video, did all the web asset stuff, all the product image stuff, created the pack. What else did we do? Like 3 or 4 different blog posts across different websites, and a bunch of other stuff. There was like a list of like 10 things that we did in like a 36-hour period from just a random idea I had. It was crazy. So, and we're just like, man, hopefully this works. I put that video out, and that was one of the videos that like it hit right away.
yeah.
Like,
I actually watched that. I actually watched that video, and it was, well, I'm not sure if I watched it when it came out, but because we were struggling with neck labels, because my guy was just putting too much pressure on the doggone label, and it kept showing on the other side.
right.
And yeah,
So that was one of those videos. It just took off like wildfire, like instant 100,000 views. It's like, holy shit, that's obviously some information people were looking for. So, and it sold a lot of those neck label packs. A lot of people use those in their shops today. It's amazing to see how many different people are using these things. I go onto like random brand pages nowadays that I've seen. Just I'll see something come across on Instagram, like an ad or something like that of some clothing brand, and go and check out their page, and they got our neck label in their shirt. It's like, it's amazing to see that. We've sold so many of those things. We've made, I think, 4 different packs at this point, and we've of course done multiple other artwork packs. We've created multiple fonts here, which is something that just Dan really wanted to get into because he's just a design nerd, and that's something that like they all really geek out on because it's very difficult to do and takes so much effort and so much research to make a font that's really functional and works well. And we've got a handful of those out there now, and whatever else we got going on, just a couple little vector things we're working on. Probably, I think like 10 other ones in the background right now that are going to be some kind of like brand new things that I don't think people have seen before. And yeah, just try and really expand that part of what we do, because I think it brings people a lot of value. It's very affordable. Like a neck label pack, we sell them for like $10, and a shop can buy that and make thousands of dollars off of it, like in a day. So it's a no-brainer to buy that thing. So,
where do they go and buy it? Like what's the place?
On our shop website, roguelabmfg.com. We've got a whole digital store on there that you can pick stuff up on. So, and yeah, all that stuff is licensed. So you buy the pack, you can obviously not resell the pack, but you can print it in shirts and sell those shirts to your clients, customers, whatever you want to do with it. Print wise, it's all yours. So it's really awesome to be able to kind of put that kind of stuff out there that you can tell has a lot of value to people.
Yeah. Well, I found out about this recently, just watching one of your videos. You also have this YouTube channel. I mean, not YouTube, but like Facebook channel for screen printers.
Yeah, that's something else that I do. That's we got a Rogue Printers group. That was something that just came out of necessity. I had I was only when did we start that thing? 2 years ago, I think. I think it's been 2 years that I started that thing. Anyways, I had started finding the print groups on Facebook as I started getting into the industry, and I'm sure you've seen what those are like. It's a fucking dumpster fire in most of them. A lot of these old school guys just have this fucking attitude and think they're just, I don't know, they think they're God's gift to the print industry and think their shit doesn't stink, and they just want to like, I don't know, they want to just tell people how it is and there's no other way to do things. And if a beginner asks something that they deem as a stupid question, they just jump all over them and whatever else. And I saw so much of that going on. I was just like, dude, this is, I'm tired of seeing this stuff. Like there's so many internet tough guys on these groups. I can't do it anymore. So I started my own. I was like, you know what, fuck these guys. I'm going to start my own group. Anyone who wants to come in here is welcome, from anywhere from beginner to pro. Anyone who wants to do any of that shit, we're just going to kick them out right away. And we want to make something that's like an actual community of printers wanting to help printers. Just everything else doesn't belong in here. And that group grew very quickly. We're at like,
I just saw it. I saw the invite and you guys accepted the invite. Thank you. It's nice. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's a great community. Everyone's out there trying to help each other. There's obviously a lot of beginner questions in there, and like those people don't get dumped on in there. Of course, like the odd shit apple from the tree falls in our group and we have to get rid of them. But I mean, like for the most part, people can come in there and ask something they would get destroyed in other groups, and people will walk them through it and help them out. And that's what I wanted. That's the way people are going to advance in this industry and not get turned away from it. So it's really cool to see that we're like 10,000 members now or something like that. And it keeps growing every day. And like we see posts on almost a weekly basis now of just people just randomly throw posts in there that this is the greatest screen printing group in existence. We love it here. And then I love seeing that. That's like, okay, we're doing our job right.
Yeah, it's being moderated properly. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really, that's something like, I'm probably more proud of that than my videos at this point, because that's something that's kind of like grown beyond me. Like there's a pretty big handful of people in that group that don't even know who I am. It's great just seeing like it grow to these other people and bring new faces in there, and just people who want to help each other. That's the end
when
goal.
When you go in one of these Facebook group that is truly a nice group, I mean, it's almost like finding gold, because like the connections that you can make in those group, people that can help you out, man, it's amazing. So if you like, as long as it's being moderated properly, because it could go inside, like you say, it can go sideways pretty fast.
Yeah, the other ones are not moderated at all. It seems it's hilarious, and it's like it seems like the more popular I get, the more that they talk about me and those other ones, which is great. I love seeing that, because they're just basically marketing for me. It's something they don't realize, but it's something that we take very seriously. Of course, I run it, and then we've got a few moderators in there that are in there every day checking stuff out and just making sure there's nothing stupid going on in there. And yeah, it's been awesome for everybody involved, and that's with everything that I do between YouTube and between that, like it's all about just like trying to help or entertain people at the end of the day, trying to provide some sort of value to people.
Yeah.
And it seems like what we got going on is doing that in multiple ways. So that's fucking sweet.
Yeah. So if you've listened up to this point, thank you so much for listening in. Definitely go out and support all of the stuff that Lee Stewart got out. Go check out his YouTube. Go check out his Facebook group. Buy one of his products. Yeah, man. Super, super grateful for you coming in, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks a lot, man. Stoked to be here.
Yeah. Thanks for coming to the T-Shirt Business Podcast.